So the way this is going to go today is if you have attended one of the miniature sessions before, we're going to have, or the info sessions before, this is going to, the beginning is going to look like a miniature version of it, just because there's some people still trying to find out what the R code is about. So I'm going to try to cover that quickly, and then we're going to get through logistics for next week afterwards. So for those of you who haven't heard about R code yet, R code is a global movement. It affects 180 plus countries across the world. This started in 2013 from a couple of students who wanted to database the list of U.S. schools that offer computer science in their classrooms. So they found out there was only, at the time, was only 10% offered it, and a lot has changed in the last over 10 years now. And Accenture took part of this starting in 2016. Really, the goal and the participation that Accenture has in this is connecting our global technology firm with the local schools in our areas. So all we're doing really is to gather the volunteers and then connect them with the schools in our communities. So jumping right in, and this is how this is going to be a basic lesson plan for what's going to happen next week. It's really simple. If you haven't heard about it yet, it starts with a very short introduction of yourself to the classroom and the teacher over there. You know, a lot of it, by the way, has a lot of flexibility. So you can choose how you do the introductions. We'll make some suggestions here, but feel free to make it your own. Work with the teacher to do something different if you want to. After the introductions, we'll do the 30 to 45-minute activity, and I'll walk you through one of the activities in a few minutes. And then towards the end, you do a wrap-up, and that can look different as well, depending on how you want to customize your session. So getting started. So for the introduction, it's good to have like a video if you can to hype up the students. There's a lot of videos from Accenture, our code site. There's also videos in the our code site as well. They put out new ones every year. You can also just discuss the importance of computer science as a whole, how that impacted you. If you're talking to younger students, you can talk about like their understanding of technology and how technology comes about, the devices that they use, the sites, the animation movies that they watch, all those things, video games, and so on. And then after that, you start the activity. So if you're talking about very young students, you will do the activities essentially for them. Right? For students that are very young, that can't do it on their own, you present a big screen and really just run the activity for them, and then get some inputs as you are doing the clicking. Once they reach about second or third grade, they're able to do a lot of the things on their own. They should have their own devices. So at that point, you just introduce it and then let the kids work through the exercise, and then you can help them in and out as needed. You can walk around, and some students may get stuck in between, and you can work through the issues with them and so on. For much older students, which is talking about high school, our code session may look a little bit more different. It could be more like a panel style interview type of questions. They may have questions about what is Accenture, and what does Accenture do, and how do you get into that? What do you do for Accenture, and so on. So it can look a little bit more professional. They may have like college-related questions and so on. Cool. Then once that actually, I'll pause it over here and I'll actually show one of the activities in a minute. I'm going to try to be a little different. So the number one activity that we always recommend is the dance party. It's the most popular. It really can fulfill the needs for every age group. But so I'll show a little bit of that, but then I'll show you the Minecraft as well. Let's see. Thanks Kevin for all the information. Kevin's on the Our Code team as well, and also a volunteer. Will there be a computer and TV set up already to show them the video? As long as you work out with the teacher, the answer is yes. So if you want to show a video, let the teacher know, and they'll be likely be fine. Make the suggestion about like if you want to do the dance party, they'll have it set it up. They'll have it set up on the students' laptops, as not laptops, but like the Chromebooks and the iPads as well. You do need to let them know ahead of time because, for safety reasons, a lot of the schools block detect like certain sites, right, for the students to navigate. So the teacher needs to know ahead of time that they need to open up, the Our Code site for the kids to do the activity. So very flexible, but also, it's all about communicating. Thanks for all the information on the chat. Cool. So going through the activity, let me share my other screen here. So as I said, you can go to ourcode.com. You get to this screen. You can click straight through activities. And like I said, dance party is the most popular one. So I'll do a quick demonstration of that. Now they have the AI edition, which is pretty cool. You can skip through the videos, right? Because this is made for like a self-paced exercise, but like if the kids are doing a self-paced session, right, and they're able to do it on their own iPads, then maybe they'll watch each video with every chapter here. So this is all there is. This is why we say there's no need for a computer science degree or coding experience, because it's all a drag and drop. So in this case, we're following the instructions above. We're making a new cat, and we're going to make a cat do, clap high. Before I click run, for the older students, and when you're trying to build up that knowledge that, coding is just a language and you need to practice it, you may want to show that, those blocks that we just dragged actually represent, different language, and it's the coding behind it. So that's that. I'm just going to run it. This is like the fun part where you see kids starting to, jump up and dance or sing along with the songs and so on. It gets harder with every step you go. So now that I am on number 1, I can move to actually number 3 and use the AI function. So that's how it is. Drag and drop. For the AI here, we're picking up essentially 3 emojis, and it's going to generate a background for the character there. Cool. Let me see effect. There you go. There's a list of songs that you can use. These lists, the list gets bigger and bigger as you progress. Right now we're using slots, but you can technically do cats and make cats do different things. It's a lot of fun. So that's the dance party. Minecraft's a little different. The sad part is that there's no music, but obviously very popular with the kids. Similar concept. Codes on the right side as you do things. For this one, you're just doing movement, right? So you're moving forward 3 times, opening up the thing, and so on. So that's the gist of it. Pretty easy, simple, step-by-step process. So most teachers are already very familiar with Dance Party, and they're comfortable with it, and they expect us to do it every year for the new classrooms that they have. I've had teachers also request specifically, oh, can we do this activity because I've already done this. So that's fine too. So just work with the teachers as you go along. Cool. Any questions about the activities since we're on this topic right now? Pull deck back up. Yes, question.
Like for kids who are ninth graders and who already know Scratch and Python coding and JavaScripting, so what is there for them? So for senior level people.
Yeah, so people work with the teacher and figure out what the knowledge gap is. So sometimes all the students are at the same level of understanding of coding. And so if they are far in advance, like I said before, it could be that it becomes more of a panel style type of visit, right? So, however, sometimes we have few students who are they're advanced in computer science, they're already programmers, and then we have a bunch that are not. So that's why it's important to work with the teacher, because then you, in a way, you can actually get the students that have advanced knowledge to help up the students who don't, right, in doing some of these activities.
Right. We are going into comp sci class, so the kids in the comp sci class.
Right. So if they're computer science class, they're likely gonna it's probably going to be more of a panel style career type of visit, and they're just going to want to know how to get into the job market, and what's your experience with the school, does it require a degree, all those things. Yeah, and there we go. Thanks, Kevin. More ideas? Cool. Where's my deck? All right. Sorry, trying to pull that back up. Cool. All right. So I'm trying to pull this up still. Pictures and videos. We always encourage you to take pictures, do little short videos. We're trying to put together a video for next year, so any short, little short videos might be helpful for us to have. It's good to post on your LinkedIn profiles as well. There are policies for pictures and videos on students, so you should check in with the teacher anyway. Sometimes it's a case where it's like there's a couple of students that the parents didn't sign off the release. Usually, even in those scenarios, if you're filming or taking pictures from behind, it's okay. So, yeah, feel free to work with the teachers and send us as many pictures as you can. Cool. So we did the activity. Wrap up. So again, depending on the age group that we're talking about, but usually either if you're doing the activity for the kids, you encounter some awkward misstep in the process, or the kids do it when they're doing it on their own. So it's important to reinforce, the people side of things, that, even in the job market and in our current day-to-day jobs as adults, we encounter problems and we have to find solutions. So talk about those feelings of frustration and not being able to carry forward. If you don't know the answer right away, tell them, like, well, I don't know the answer, but we can work through it together and let's see how it goes. I say this, but you should do the activity yourself at least once before before teaching it. So, but yeah, I've gotten stuck a few times where I didn't necessarily know the error. Like the dance party, sometimes you miss the block where it's like it says create a slot, and then it says cat doesn't move, right? And it doesn't tell you where it's broken, but it's because you be consistent with the same animal. So here's a hint. And then you obviously at the end you just thank them and so on. One optional thing that you can do and can work with the teachers is that Hour of Code provides certificates of completion. So if you work with the teachers, they'll be more than happy to print it out for you in advance. There's also stickers, so you can work with the teachers as well. Let's see. Yeah, and that's basically it for the day of the presentation. Covering some of the best practices, which I already mentioned, acknowledging that things don't always work the way things should. Reinforcing the idea that programming is a language. You don't learn it the first day, right? You have to practice it over and over again, and you get better with time. The student finishes early, ask them to help other students, or maybe they can work on a different activity, or at the end sometimes there's time to do like a little showcase of the creations that they did. So that could be done as well. You can also, like I said, on the right side, when you see the code, you can see, you can ask the students, can you tell me how many lines of code did you write today? So they can do that at the end of each level, and compare at the end. Cool. For our next steps, so I've stressed this many times already, communicate with the teachers, right? You should have already gotten at least a couple of emails from me or from our code distro that has a spreadsheet that has everybody's shift that they signed up for, people who signed up for the same shift or the same school. So you should include, especially the people in the same shift, include them in communications with the teachers as well. There's also in that same email a template of how that email may look like to the teacher. So you can use that as a template, replace the parts about your name and so on. I've said this before, run through one of these activities by yourself first before you show up next week. I think it covers most of it. Yeah, some schools have special requirements in terms of the documentation that you need to before you get into school. So sometimes you need to fill in a form before you go to the school. Sometimes there's a verification of IDs. For the most part, it's usually just an ID check at the school itself, but you should check what the requirements are. And it's also on a template asking the teachers about any of those special requirements. I did provide a link to a PowerPoint presentation template. I do that because people usually ask, like there's always some people who ask and they prefer to have a full PowerPoint presentation to show to the class. I don't think it's needed in most cases, but it's there if you want to. So there's a bunch of slides. You can cater to however you want. You can do an introduction. You can do like that formal presentation style. I usually just play the video and and then in the big screen show the activity that it's happening from the Hour of Code site. So I don't usually prepare my own PowerPoint, but if you want one, I need one, there's one there in that email as well. Yeah, there's plenty of other resources. Go to code.org to get resources. You can go to ourcode.com as well. They're sort of interchangeable in some ways, the two sites. There is, like I said before, Accenture Our Code videos as well. Yeah, I agree with Kevin. Yeah, elementary schools probably don't need PowerPoint. Cool. That kind of sums it up. Sure you have questions. Kevin, if you have any other thoughts, feel free to unmute yourself and help me here. But otherwise, open up for questions.
Drink a lot of coffee that day, so you got a tremendous amount of energy. That would probably be my one thing. And as Junior pointed out, the email that you send to the teachers in advance, make sure that you get that out at least 2 days in advance so that they are aware. Some of the things I always make sure that I highlight in that email, or even bold or whatever it is make sure that the students have their device charged and in front of them when you show up. So whether it's an iPad or a school issued Chromebook or MacBook or something, that they have their headphones are there, because you don't want 20 some kids in a classroom all doing dance party with 20 different songs. And then the third is I usually download that certificate that Junior just mentioned a few minutes ago. I ask them, can you print these out with your student names? And there's instructions on the website of how to do that. Or if you want, send me a list and I'll merge it into the certificates and I can print them at the office or something. But I do like to have the certificate part figured out so that when the kids are done with Hour of Code, there is instant gratification of here's your certificate. Teachers will often show it to them and then they will put it in Friday folders for elementary students or something to that effect. I do know for elementary students, it is a really exciting thing. My kids have always come home and been happy about it and bragged about it. So those are the three things I really try to make sure are in that intro email to the teachers that should go out 1 to 2 days before you're going to be there. And everything else, Junior, great job.
Thanks. Also opening up for a plug here too. There are still a lot of shifts that are unaccounted for. That we're trying to fill. So if you have the availability and the energy to do a couple ones around, maybe the ones that you're already volunteering for, we would certainly appreciate. But yeah, otherwise, happy coding. Yeah, let us know if there's any other questions here. If not, feel free to ping me directly, send us an email. We'll address them as quickly as possible. Like Kevin said, if you're volunteering for Monday, the 9th already, you should have already sent that email introducing to the teachers. If not, just do it like as quickly as possible so you have enough time to do a little back and forth before your shift. Boom. All right. Appreciate everyone's time. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for